and discuss our journey while inspire others to be who God has called them to be unapologetically. Allow us to introduce the amazing host, Queen Yolanda Mitchell. Hey, welcome to New Being Queen Talk Show. I am your host, Queen Yolanda Mitchell. And this is the part that I love, where we tell our story, speak our truth, and talk about our journey. And today we have a beautiful guest on today. It's going to be talking about depression and grief. So this is going to be a whole discussion, y'all. It's going to be good. So while we're here, I want y'all to go ahead and go ahead and share this on your Facebook page. I'm telling you all, it is going to be good. But anyway, for those men that's out there, happy Father's Day. And we are here on Father's Day. Yes, we are. And we are here working because somebody may need what she needs. What's in her belly, someone may need it. Come on. So make sure that you share it on your Facebook page, okay? And also, don't forget to take out your time and go on New Being Queen Talk Show on YouTube. Yes, that's NEWBEING, New Being Queen Talk Show on YouTube, and subscribe to our channel. Okay. All right. So you can watch her on TV. So in case you miss it, it's going to be okay. You can go on YouTube and you can find her on YouTube and look at her on television. So y'all family and friends of Mrs. Graves, come through on tonight. So I'm gonna read some of her bio, and we're gonna have her to come up. But we got us a poem. So she got some little treats for us on tonight, y'all. So we're not just gonna be talking about grief and depression and things like that. She has something beautiful for us. So y'all better stay tuned if y'all want to hear this beautiful poem. Yeah, I put her on the spot. Y'all know how I do these guests. So if you're gonna be a guest on New Being Queen Talk Show, guess what? You're gonna be put on the spot. So don't come to me talk about your little gifts and stuff, because I'm gonna have you to talk about it. So anyway, absolutely love this part of the show, where we can talk about what people are doing and then explore other things that they love doing. And that's what I love. I really genuinely do. So let's talk about Tierra Graves. She was born in Washington, D.C. She currently holds a bachelor's degree in English from Trinity Washington University. She also holds a master's degree in secondary education and a master's degree in teaching English to speakers of other languages from Grand Canyon University. Additionally, she completed a summer course in 2023 at Goucher College, where she obtained a certificate license to teach advanced placement courses in English. Additionally, she completed a 120-hour certification course with World TESOL Academy in July 2024. I just spelled it out because I don't know how to pronounce it. Okay, where she obtained a certificate to teach English as a secondary language. And also in August of 2024, she completed a 25-week grief course under Canaan Land Stewart University and is now a licensed grief specialist coach. Okay, she's a specialist coach. So we're gonna talk about that once we get her on the stage. Okay, so Mrs. Graves is a 7-time published author. She published Prism of Me in 2020, a new twist on Old Traditions in 2020, a new twist on Old Tradition Workbook 2020, Depression Before Tea, Journey A to Z 2021, My Testimony, a Declaration of Deliverance 2024 with Christian Living Books, Inc. She published I Live to Tell It Testimonial Anthology in 2023, alongside of 11 women of God as a co-author within Due Season Publishing Company. Her bonus book is the Record. Currently, she works as an adjunct professor at the University of Potomac, teaching ESL, English as a second language, and English composition courses. As Mrs. Graves writes poetry, short stories, essays, and so much more. Stay connected with the author on Facebook and Instagram, Books by T. She leads 2 groups on Facebook, From Depression to Destiny and From Grief to Glory. Oh my goodness, where she continues to share her story and testimony about how God showed up in her life in moments when she thought life was over. Oh my goodness, this here bio by itself is something. So y'all better get ready for Tierra Graves as she come forth. So if y'all have not share this video. If y'all have not shared it, go ahead and make sure that you go ahead and start sharing it now on your Facebook pages. And y'all know how we do the New Being Queen Talk Show. We love to be interactive. So when you comment, we're going to show your comments. We're going to talk about it, maybe asking the questions or what have you. But y'all know that's how we flow. Anyway, I'm going to present to some, introduce to others, the beautiful woman of God who we've been waiting for, Tierra Graves. Hey, Queen, how are you?
I am so well. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you for this opportunity. We bless God for all that He has allowed me to accomplish. In His name, amen.
And you have accomplished a whole lot. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So I want you to tell us just a little bit more about yourself. We know, I'm gonna put you on the spot talking about this poem. So we're gonna get to that. But tell us more about how you got to be where you are with the depression and things like that. I mean, let's do this. Let's give us a backstory about yourself, and then we're gonna talk about depression and all that good stuff.
Oh, I mean, it all goes together. So I'll just jump right into it.
Oh, yes, ma'am. Let's do it.
So good evening, everyone. Good evening. I thank God. I bless God for this evening. I bless God for and just another opportunity to come before um this social media world, the social media platform. We thank God for the viewers and those that will catch us on a replay. But we just thank God for your presence on this evening. And my name is Tierra Graves, and I'm here in your nation's capital. And my journey started um a long, long time ago. I started to write. So the books that she mentioned, I started to write because I needed an outlet to express my depression and grief. And so writing has always been that outlet for me. So I suffered with depression for about 10 plus years. I always say that I can remember because there's parts of the journey that I actually don't remember. And that
Mm,
is normal for people to forget some of their trauma. But the parts that I do remember, God allowed me to share it through a book. That's when the book Depression with 14 was released in 2021. But my journey started um, back. I could say dated back to maybe when I was in high school or before
mm,
that. But so for me, depression and grief, they kind of go hand in hand in my life.
mm,
And so what I had to learn was that I needed to educate myself on the things that was happening to me and around me. Um, Depression is not always an easy topic to talk about, and it's not something that was openly discussed in my family and in my
mm,
household. But um, I knew that I needed to do what was best for me and my own personal journey to heal, regardless of what the people around me thought about it. And so, one of the scriptures that I wanted to leave you guys with was it's about educating yourself because sometimes we wonder why we're not healing from things, and it's because
mm.
we're not educating ourselves on those things. So,
That's right.
Proverbs 2 and 2, so that thou incline thy heart so that thou incline thy ear unto wisdom and apply thy heart to understanding. And so my process was getting an understanding of what was happening. Depression is just an emotion. And alongside of that, grief is also an emotion. And they are long periods of time where we use, suffering, sorrow, sadness, and a lot of other adjectives can be used to describe depression and grief. But the biggest one I want to remind you all that are listening is that it's an emotion. And so once
Mm,
we understand that it's simply an emotion that we're going through, then we can look at the emotion, acknowledge the emotion, and acknowledge what is happening, and then learn from it, and then make the changes that's necessary to move forward in that. And so um grief, they kind of I'm gonna kind of intertwine these. So stay with me. I hope it's not confusing to the listeners, but for me they are sisters. Okay, depression and grief are like twins, and they go together. So for most people, you don't have one without the other. And I always say that my depression journey would not have lasted as long as it did if I was knowledgeable about the grief that I was dealing with. And so, because I didn't know how to grieve, how should I grieve, what does it look like, I'm just going off of the traditions and the things that I know from looking at my family and looking at how they deal with things. Grief is a unique thing, and it happens to each person in a different way. So I couldn't imagine what I was dealing with my grief in comparison to my mom or to my sisters, and I had to understand that. So what looked normal to them wasn't necessarily normal for me, and I had to be okay with that. And so once I started to take the steps to heal, it came through understanding though. So it came through getting an understanding about what depression and grief really is. And what is it as a believer? Sometimes we forget that as Christians, our walk should look different from the non-believer. And so From Grief to Glory was coined back in 2003 when I wrote the anthology. And that was the first time that I was able to release a grief story from a different perspective, because I had written about grief a little bit in my first book, Prism of Me, dedicated to my dad. And then each that came after that was just another level of healing for me, another level of deliverance, another level of revelation, and things that God was allowing me to see and what was being revealed to me in my life concerning these two things. And so my books are like a series. So the first book, the second book, the third book, and so on, they only make sense if you read the book before that. And so, I started with Prism of Me in 2020, and that was the first release where it was trauma to transformation. And the covers of my book are also very significant in helping to tell the journey from each of the books and why I write the way I do and why I share the way that I share. But it's the gift that God has given me, and the way that God allows me to release each story is intentionally, and it's for a purpose. And so the depression, like I said, happened a long time ago, and a lot of it was because of just dealing with different losses, dealing with just trying to find out who I was as a Christian and who I wanted, who God wanted to be. And a lot of it was confusing for me. And so in that confusion, I suffered with, again, depression because I didn't have an understanding. And so as I started to mature in my faith and just mature as a person, I just took responsibility of my own healing. And I knew that that healing journey was for me and it was personal. And I could not allow all the distractions and everything around me to hinder that process. And even if it didn't make sense to the people around me, I knew that it made sense because it was what God needed me to do for my life. And in order for me to sit here now and talk about it, I had to be healed from it. Right? So many people like to talk about things and say that they heal from it, but you'll really know if you heal when you're tempted.
Jesus.
And how you either you, what they say, either you move forward or you fumble. And what I've learned about grief, especially, many people talk about the different stages. Oh, you have to go through these stages. These are the stages of grief. And I'm not going to talk a whole lot about the stages, but one thing that just has been revealed to me lately was this new stage called reconstruction stage. And in that stage, you are supposed to find new ways to move forward. This is why people can't get over the things that we say we overcome. Well, if you overcome, then you should be doing new things to get over it. And in that, doing new things and finding ways to recover and regroup doesn't mean that you forgot about what happened.
Right.
Today's Father's Day. I wasn't even sure if I wanted to even mention Father's Day. But I found new ways to honor my father. I found new ways to move forward so that the holidays aren't dreadful and so that they aren't so painful. I'm finding new ways. And so those new ways for me come through my writing. My writing has truly helped me heal in areas that I could have never imagined. So instead of me continuing to sweep things under the rug or not talk about it or wear a mask, I'm finding new ways to walk in my healing, walk in my purpose, and honor those that I lost in a different way. Last year, God allowed me to be a speaker at a conference, and it was my father's birthday.
Oh.
And it brought me so much joy because I could have been at a cemetery moping and crying. But instead, I said, I'm going to go to this stage. I'm going to go on this stage and I'm going to talk about my journey. And that's how I honor my dad. So it's not by accident that I was asked to do this interview on Father's Day. Because I'm honoring my dad. I just thank God for the journey.
Amen. What I love about this, you know how strong you are, stronger than you know. I didn't even know about your dad. And then for you to be able to get on here and actually smile through it, even while you're talking. I know that you say, oh my God, I feel it now. But what's going to help others that may have a dad who's absent, who's no longer here. And you're doing it here today on the actual Father's Day, on Father's Day. And I had no idea that this was like a real situation for you. I had no idea that this was a moment for you. But that is you saying, I'm coming out. I am better now. I'm not who I used to be. I'm not where I was. And what was so profound when you said constructive, you said find a new way to move forward. Because a lot of times we don't know how to move forward in grief. We don't know. We'll stay stuck in that position.
Right.
You said, well, you know, if you don't find a way, because because you got to do something different. You have to be able to do something different. And that was just so beautiful for you to say that. You kept saying, I had to learn. I had to find out. You didn't go to someone else and say, I need you to teach me, and talk about all the different counselors and therapists and all those different ones. You said you researched it yourself. You looked into it yourself. Because you were a teacher. By nature, you were a teacher. And how you went in and you
Right.
and you did your own research, and now you can help someone else. And it's not about what someone else told you. Okay. So now it's one thing when you go through your own personal experience, because ain't nothing like your own personal experiences, right? And that's better than anything. Is personal experience. When you learn your self experience, but when other people tell you about it, that's something else. But when you also when you dug deeper, you did the research. Let me find out what's going on with me. Let me find out what my issue is. Why can't I move? When you say that depression and grief are like sisters or cousins or whatever. So
twins.
Twins, you said twins. So you have the twins. So you deal with the grief, a loss of a loved one. And then if you don't deal with it, then unknowingly you start going through some form of depression. You know what I'm saying? Like if you don't deal with the grief, or because it's like you don't process it, you don't talk about it, you don't even know that it may be something that may be in your family. Do you know if depression is different? Because my form of depression to me would look like to me is someone who just be sad. But can depression be anger too? Can depression be anger and someone lashing out?
So that's what I learned, right? Yes.
Okay.
So I went through that. So the same way they talk about the stages of grief, so the same stages: denial, anger, bargaining, what is it? Anger, bargaining, depression, depression and acceptance. So the same way that we go through those 5 stages in grief, you can also go through those 5 stages in depression. And I went through all of those in depression and grief. So denying that I was actually depressed, even when I sat in the therapist's office, even when I sat with psychiatrists, even when they put me on all these medications, even when I see the diagnosis, written in front of me, I went through a long period of denial saying that that's not happening to me. I don't have that. And I just kept going back to the doctor, and they like, but we told you what's going on. But because I was in denial, I couldn't receive what they was actually telling me. I couldn't see myself in that manner. So although other people around me was seeing it, like seeing how I'm seeing my behavior or seeing, what I'm doing, seeing the isolation, seeing the frustration. So yeah, the same stages that you go through in grief, I went through those same stages in depression. And my acceptance came when I made the decision to either trust God or die in it.
Oh.
And that was my only option. I got tired of the doctors. I got tired of the therapists. I got tired of the medications. I got tired of it because it was just a cycle. And I was like going in circles, ring around the rosy. And I just was like, okay. And my pastor had made a statement to me, either you let God do this or you don't. Like, do you trust God to heal you or you don't trust God to heal you? Which one is it? And I remember walking out of the doctor's office. They gave me another prescription. I didn't feel it. I just came home. I laid on the floor and I just cried out to God. And I told him, God, if you don't do this, then I just accept that I die like this.
Oh, wow.
And in that confession is when he released me to write Depression Before Tea. I got healed in my house, in my bedroom, laying on the floor. And I never took another pill. I never went to another therapist. I never went back. I just was like, okay, God, it's going to be you and me. And we're going to ride this thing out until the wheels fall off. And I am so grateful that I trusted God to heal me over the therapist. And that's not saying that the therapists and the doctors didn't know what they was doing.
Right.
But God needs to show me something. Because we can walk around all the time saying that we trust God. But if you really do, then why are you still in the mess that you say you want to get out of?
I have a question.
And I was tired of being like,
I have this, I wrote something down because whenever you're talking, I be getting some little notes, I be getting some ideas. So what you're saying is when you deal with grief and loss, acknowledge your feelings, acknowledge what you're going through, acknowledge how you feel. Because we'll deny, oh, the devil is a lie. I'm not depressed. I'm not frustrated. I don't have anxiety.
That's the denial, right?
Yeah.
That's the first stage. That's that denial. And you sit in it for a long time.
Because I think because when we go to church and we say don't claim it, they say don't claim that, don't claim that. Okay, well, okay, maybe I don't need to claim depression or this or whatever, man. But let me acknowledge that I got something going on though. Let me talk about that. I feel like I want to hit somebody upside their head. I want to bust somebody upside the head with a bottle. Let me tell my truth. Now you may not want to hear it. It may not sound godly. It may not sound right. Let me just tell you how I really feel. Like I want to drive my car right into a tree or to a ditch, or run that joker over. I mean, just let me tell the truth, because we are told you're not this and that, the third. It's almost like just shut it down, suppress it, but it's still there, just festering and waiting for a moment.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Waiting for a moment. Waiting on a moment to explode, and that's what happened.
And it'll fester in other ways. Yeah, it'll fester in other ways. So people think because they suppressing it that's dealing with it, and you don't realize that your suppression is now festering a different way. So like my suppression, and I know a lot of people, this is just my story, my journey. So don't take just what I'm saying and run with it, because this is not end all be all. And these two topics are very serious topics. And I tell anyone, even in my book, I left resources. in the book for people to contact, different resources and get the help that they need. But you'll start to see the behaviors fester another way. So even when I'm silent and I may be isolated, I'm doing other things like acting out, right? Or like when I quit my job, most people would not say that like people say, oh, I'm gonna throw in a towel, I'm walking away from it all. Well, I actually did that, and I did that multiple times. I know what it like. I literally walked away from my job. When my father passed away, I was unemployed for 2 years. I didn't care how the bills was gonna get paid. I didn't care about none of that. I was just like, if I end up on the street, that's fine too. But I trusted God enough to know that in my craziness, he would still sustain me. And he did. But even with depression, same thing. I got tired of being in DC, so I just packed my bags one day and I moved to West Virginia. And I lived in West Virginia for 2 years. And I said, oh, I'll just enroll in school. If I go to school, maybe things will be better. Got up there, nothing changed. Still dealing with the same emotions, still dealing with the same drama, still dealing with the same issues. I was living up there on 3 different medications that people that had met me had no clue of what I was really going through. They just saw me continuing to just smile and just put on a brave face and just, keep going. But inside, I was crumbling. And I'm learning. Again, it comes with educating yourself and learning things. Like I learned that now I have too much at stake to just walk away from it all. There's no such thing as throwing the towel. You can't throw in the towel. Like people make jokes like, oh, I threw in the towel and then God threw it back. Well, I don't even got to throw in the towel no more because I'm in a different place that I'm not going to allow these emotions to make me walk away from the things that God has allowed me to do. My life didn't stop because my father's did. I have to accept that. And I have to now live without him because there's more that God has for Tierra to do. That person has finished their course. They won the race. That's the word. So all of us have an expiration date.
Wow.
And once we understand that this is a part of the process, you don't sit around moping and crying and woe is me and I can't get out of bed and you don't comb your hair and don't take a shower. Like you can't live like that. I used to always wonder why I see people go to the funeral on Monday, Tuesday, they back at their job like it never happened. But that's not what it is. It's not that it never happened. They in that reconstruction stage. They finding ways to move on in positive ways because you have to keep living. You have to keep living.
I love that. I love how you even looked at that and said that's them trying to find their way. I love how you did that. I love how you look at somebody else's life.
Yes, everybody have a process. Everybody's journey is not going to be the same, and you have to find what works for you. For me, it's like I said. For me, it's writing. I'm a liturgical dancer. I love praise dancing. This is how I get my healing. This is how I get my breakthrough. God has given me my own ministries, and these ministries are helping me continue the journey, to continue to heal, to continue to talk about God's goodness and God's glory in all of it, because all of it was a purpose for Tierra's life. Now, if the rest of my family don't find the purpose in it, that don't have nothing to do with me. But for me, I found the purpose in it.
Wow. I have something for you. So we know we're gonna get us a poem out of you, okay? We're gonna get that poem. But I'm gonna get ready to play. Go ahead, play your commercial real quick, your ad real quick. So in your book, in one of your books, I want you to be ready to read like one page in one of your books. So whichever book you want to read, I want you to open up because I know you got about 4, 5, 6 books there. So just open up whichever one and just listen and read one page out of there, out of whichever one you decide. And then we're going to talk a little bit more. And then we're gonna get this poem. Do y'all want to hear one of her poems? Y'all know these poems, these poetry women. I don't know something about these poetry women. I have another lady that I don't know if she's able to, I don't know if she's on this broadcast here, but she may be listening in. Her name is Dr. Rogers, Monique Rogers. She's getting ready to do a poetry slam or something like that. I'm gonna see if she'll connect with you so she can get you to come on Clubhouse with her. So I'm hoping she's listening in and tuning in. If she's not, one of the queens that I know gonna let her know and connect her. So y'all can connect. Oh, she said good evening. There she go right there. She said good evening, queens. So she is here.
She said, "Oh, I'm here."
Yeah, she let me know. She said, I am here. So we're gonna make sure that she knows about your poetry and things like that. So she'll get a chance to hear. So whenever that it comes, because it's coming up very soon for it. So let us play this, do the little commercial break, just a 20-30 second commercial break. Y'all tune in for the commercial, and then we're gonna come back. But y'all don't forget to write questions for her if y'all have any comments and things like that. And we're gonna come back. She's gonna read one page out of her book. She's gonna read one page out of her book. And then I'm hearing some feedback. You got a phone on, another device on? Queen, you got another device on? You have another device? Because I can hear like some feedback. You don't? Okay. So we're gonna have another page. Okay. So we're gonna get a page. She's gonna read a page out of her book, and then we're gonna talk a little bit more. Y'all make sure y'all get y'all questions together, and then we're gonna have her to do some poetry. So y'all didn't know she had that, did you? So y'all stay tuned. We'll be right back. All right, we are back with this beautiful queen, y'all. She has been talking about depression and grief and how she's lost her father. And y'all, guess what? Today is Father's Day, and she's able to talk about it, y'all. Oh my goodness. So she's talking about depression, how it's like twins. Depression and grief are like twins, and how they almost go hand in hand, and you almost can't tell the difference between the two. And so I'm just excited about it. So that what we just played was her ad. Those are 4 of her books that she has, and so she has not updated that video. She's a 7-time published author with 2 new releases coming out next month. So she has 2 new books to add to that, 2 or 3 more other books to add to that commercial, the ad that she has. And so the video on it highlighted just 4 of the books. So she has 3 more coming. Okay. And so she has a grief poem and depression poem that she's going to share, but not right now. Not right now. Y'all better stay tuned. Y'all need to go ahead and just share this. Share it on your pages. So what we're going to do right now, she has out of her books that she has, not right now. Say it's best for last. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna have her to turn in one of her pages and read one of the pages out of one of her books. So tell us the name of the book and what page you in, and read just one page. I'm not gonna cry, y'all. I'm not gonna cry. Okay. So whenever you're ready.
And we ain't gonna cry no more. We already cried, so we ain't crying no more.
I cried.
You just want me. You don't want me to read the poem.
I'm not right now. We're gonna.
You want me to read last.
We're gonna read one page out of one of your books. One page out of one of your books. Just read whichever page you decide to turn to, and then we're gonna eventually get to the
let's just go with it.
Okay, come on, let's go.
Okay, so this is from Depression Before Tea, Journey A to Z. So this book is dedicated to all suffering from a mental health illness. Multiple mental health illnesses are being experienced by people in the world today. However, depression is the focus of this prolific work. The author shares her personal dealings with depression, bipolar disorder, anxiety, and panic attacks through testimonial poetry in hopes that her story will bring awareness, insight, and healing to all it touches. I am a reflection of you.
Oh, so you had, you said anxiety, depression, grief,
Panic attacks and bipolar disorder.
bipolar. Which one? What you said about the
Yeah, I was
bipolar?
diagnosed with manic depression, bipolar disorder, panic attacks, and anxiety disorder.
Oh wow. And look at you. Because when I first met you, I was like, oh, she's so beautiful. And you just kept smiling. Through your smile, I could not, you know what I'm saying? Like your smile is just, it covers, like it just overshadows all that. Like I would have never known by just looking at you that you dealt with that. All of that, I would have never known. But that's why we have to be careful. When we see people, just like you said, you walked off the job, you were gone for like 2 years. When people do that, we have to ask them, or if they just super angry, because I thought that, depression was
Right.
just, you know sad, and you won't take a bath, you don't want to clean yourself up, and things like that. I didn't know that it could come out into anger, and frustration. I didn't know all of that stuff. So I'm telling you, that's why I love having people like yourself coming here on the show,
It
because
was
you
a
really
lot. Like I did a lot. So even when so this was part of the denial stage. So part of the denial stage, I would get my medicines that they would give me. I would go get them filled, and I would hide them in my lunchbox so that when I came home to my parents, they didn't know that I had the medicine. So for a long time, my parents didn't even know that I was on the medication. And I was on like three to four different medications at one time.
How old were you?
But every time I went, I was 21 when I started the medication. And I was in undergraduate school at the time. So I was in my, I was going to a school here locally in DC. And it just was a lot going on. So it was like multiple losses that happened. I wrote a chapter I wrote a memoir. And in that memoir, I have a chapter titled "Do Death Do Us Apart?" And in that chapter, I talk about what death looked like from a kid. So I go through from childhood all the way up to being an adult, because some people don't understand the trauma of losing your loved ones when you're real young. You don't know how to really process it, and then the people around you don't know how to process it or help you either. And I learned a lot about children grieving through the grief class that I took, because at 5 I lost my grandmother. My mother was 8 months pregnant with my sister when she buried her mom. And at 5, I don't know what to say to my mom. My mom don't know what to say to me. And then my mom is 8 months pregnant. And then at 10, I lost my grandfather on my dad's side. Then at 13, I lost my other grandfather on my mother's side. So it just kept going. Then I lost some uncles, but the one that really hit me was my uncle. So my uncle passed away. I was a junior in high school when my uncle passed, but he was like a second father to me. And so we were really close. So when he passed, that really messed me up. And I was just like, oh my goodness, now I gotta go back to go back to high school after dealing with all of this. So I had to finish my senior year knowing that we had just buried my uncle. And then in my undergraduate studies is when I lost my dad. So my dad passed away in 2014. But it's, God just has a way. They say that God has a way that's mighty sweet. So 2 years after my father died, my graduation ceremony was on the day that he died. And I told my family, they kept saying, they was like, wait, what you mean? Because I kept saying, I don't even know if I'm graduating. And they was like, what do you mean? School is over. Like I had really I think I finished my program in maybe like April or something like that. So we was just waiting for the graduation. And when they released the announcement, I was like, ain't no way. Like, ain't no way I walk across no stage on the day that my father died. Like, you cannot be serious. Like, can they change this date? And I even asked them, I was like, can y'all change this date? Like, I really, like, this was just something, like, they like, yeah, we're gonna change the whole date just for her. Like, this don't got nothing to do with me, right? But in that moment, all I saw was what I was dealing with. I wasn't thinking about all the other graduates. I was just like, no, y'all don't understand what I'm telling you. This is traumatic for me. And my family was like, what are you talking about? I had family come in town. My aunts and them came in town from out of town. Everybody was here. They was just like, what is this girl talking about? She said she not going to the graduation. And I was like, y'all, I'm not walking across that stage. That's the day that I found my father dead. Like, what? Like, I'm supposed to walk across the stage. I'm supposed to be happy. And it was exactly 2 years. And in that moment, I just was like, okay, just go to the graduation, you know, all your family's here, just try to like not think about it. And I didn't think about it for a while. But then it got me when I had the graduation party, and at the graduation party, I just completely fell apart. Because they had decorated the graduation hall with all these pictures of my dad. I had a professional picture done with me and my dad. So me in my cap and gown with my dad behind me, like my angel, like my protector. Like basically the picture, it showed like my father was with me, you know, in that moment. And I felt that, like I really did. When I saw that picture, I was just like, oh my God, my father is so proud of me. And that was the turning point for me, because that's when I realized that I had to do things differently. And that I couldn't allow my grief to send me to the grave. So I started my process. I started my healing journey. It's been a long, rough road, but with each new passing day, God is continuing to hold me up. And I'm grateful.
So you still have those, and so you still have those moments, you know, where you still cry and things like that. And I think that's healthy for you not to try to, you know, try to hold it in, that you allow yourself to feel. And just like you did a few minutes ago, you allowed yourself to feel, and you said, okay, I processed that. That's good. Like you, I mean, you are really the best. And I was told, like,
I let myself feel it, but I don't stay in that place. So it's not that I don't feel it. I allow myself to feel it. I allow myself to cry. I allow myself to have, you know, those days. But I don't allow those days to turn into years, because that's what it used to be. And I don't have years to waste now.
Oh, now that's powerful right there. That's I'm gonna have you whenever this is over. That's I'm gonna have you to come back and talk, because I would love for you to be able to come back and help our young ladies, you know, be able to, you know, to talk about grief and talk about depression and things like that, especially, you know, since you in that arena, in the teaching arena, and you love the middle school age children. It'd be great for you to come and talk to them about grief, because you, like you said, who was there for you when you were, what you said, 5 years old, when you lost your grandmother, you know, things like that. Your mom was 8 months pregnant with your sister, you know, like how could she's trying to figure out things, that lost her mom while she's pregnant and got you. That was a lot, you know what I'm saying? Oh, let me take the crying faces off there. So that was a lot for her.
Yeah, we know crying.
You know, and so she's trying to process it, you know, and that was a lot. You know what, you are special, because you was able to process, you know, your mom not being able to help you because she's grieving the loss of her mom. She's pregnant and got you, and so you got, you know, it's almost like you got left out, because, you know, mom's still trying to process it for herself. How can she help you when she's going through, you know? And so, like, you know, and that's why it's imperative.
And I had to understand that, like, because I went through that when my father passed away. Like, everybody was so like, how are the kids doing? How is his kids doing? And I'm like, well, y'all forget he had a wife. Like, just because I lost my dad is one thing, but my mother lost a husband that somebody she was married to for 34 years. And everyone was, how's the girls? How's the girls? Ask, how is my mom? It's okay to ask that. because we both are grieving with two different things, two different situations, and that was okay.
Don't have me. Don't have me. I'm just thinking that's good. So next time I'm up there talking, I'm gonna say, "How are you doing? How are your children?"
Right.
So I'm telling you, you here on this,
Right.
show for a reason, because you helping us, Don't overlook the wife.
Yeah.
I don't overlook the husband. Yes, ask about the children. Because that'd be the first thing we think about are the children. Who's going to be there for them, to cover them, to protect them, to make sure they're good and things like that. But what about their spouse? Because we think that they just Superman, Superwoman, and then
Right.
y'all gonna be, what about the children? What about how they're grieving? But it's all good. This has been real good. I'm trying to see if there's anything else I need to. This has been a real good show already. We're gonna get ready for the poetry piece of it. Um, before we do the poetry piece of it, is there anything you want to say before we get to the poetry part of it? Anything else that you may have feel like you want to share and you want to
No,
say
I just
before we
want.
get?
No, so the biggest, like I said, the biggest lesson has just literally just came recently. So, healing is a process. It's not gonna, you're not gonna just, they say God can do it overnight, and he can. But if that's not your story, don't feel frustrated if it doesn't happen overnight. My story didn't happen overnight. I had, like I said, a 10-year plus battle dealing with depression and several other mental illnesses that I was diagnosed with. Um, and it really took me surrendering my entire life to God for me to get the understanding that I needed, to get the healing that I needed in my life, to be the better person and to be all that God has called me to be. And I haven't arrived. I'm still healing. Because it's a process. It's daily. And I really love this new stage called reconstruction stage, where you find new ways to move forward, because that is what I am doing. With each poem, with each book, with everything that God has put in my lap for me to do concerning this story or this part of my life, I give God the glory in it all, because as I educate myself, then he gives me the opportunity to educate others through my testimony. And yes, the Bible teaches us that we are overcome by one another's testimony. But in order for us to truly overcome, each of us needs to be honest, transparent, and open to share those things that may seem uncomfortable or may seem so traumatic that you don't want to talk about it again. But the next person's breakthrough might be attached to your testimony. So learn about the reconstruction stage and find ways to move forward in a new way.
Now listen, if y'all have any family that may be going through and have experienced anxiety, depression, bipolar, anxiety, depression, bipolar, grief, get her book. So we have to make sure that we attach that book to y'all. So she just told y'all that book about the reconstruction part. We need to get that one. Period. Depression before. Y'all need to make sure y'all get that book. How much is that book, Queen?
I think it's $12.99. I don't know. It's on Amazon.
It's on Amazon. So y'all make sure that we have to make sure we get that. I got that link. Did you send me that link? So we want to make sure we get that link. So y'all go and get that. But will you show it one more time for those because if we all have a child, how many pages in that book? You remember how many pages?
79. So
79
this book
pages.
is really unique. So with this book has the alphabet. So I use the alphabet to talk about the different emotions. So like A, anxiety, D, depression, G, grief. So this is a really a unique book.
Oh my goodness.
So I use that.
I'm telling you.
It's just an emotion.
Yeah, we got to definitely stay connected, because I'm telling you, we have to use that. So y'all, we getting ready to get to the part where we are getting ready to do a poetry piece. How many pieces of poetry? You said you got 2 or just 1. What you gonna do today?
You gonna do you want me to do 2? I can do depression and grief. I can do 2. I can do depression and grief. They both are in this book.
We don't want too much, because we don't want Dr. Rogers. Look, she done found your book. She done put it on Amazon. This is the Amazon queen right here. This is a book, the author queen. I'm telling you, y'all need to connect. I'm telling you, because she gonna connect. You already know it. So give us, I want to make sure that you, well, I know since you got a whole book, so I ain't gonna worry about it, because I know y'all gonna connect, and she's gonna want you to read one of them. So read one, and then we're gonna talk about it a little bit, and then we're gonna read the other one, and then we're gonna go from there. So let's go.
Okay, so D is for depression. Hunted down and persecuted, but not deserted, to stand alone, struck down, but never destroyed. 2 Corinthians 4:9. Excessive crying that lasts for days, whether asleep or awake, the pain you can't shake. Emotions you can't control, the world around you seems to unfold. Death. D is for depression. It's lasting forever is how you perceive. Mental illness, the diagnosis received. But to what degree? Daily news report from doctors. Medication, therapy. D is silent. Breathe through it with racing thoughts. The pain in my mind, no one can help. Alone and confused. Why is this happening to me? Excessive crying for days. D is for depression. Trapped behind the emotion. Awake or asleep. Suffocating.
When you said pain in my mind, no, and that was just for the depression part.
Yeah.
Oh wow. They talked about the medication that we see. That's the silent stuff that we don't talk about. The stuff that you go through behind closed doors that you don't even share with people.
I talk about everything. Bipolar, anxiety. Yeah, I talk about everything in this book. God released it all. Because I was sitting back like, you want me to say that?
Yeah, but I'm talking while you was, when it first started happening and you was going through it, and you didn't quite understand it, and now you can talk about it. Now I'll be glad when it gets to that, when it become a day where it can be talked about, and it becomes a norm where you can talk about it and help people to become free. Because I think that's why a lot of us are walking around here like ticking time bombs, and we're doing weird and odd stuff, because we don't talk about what we've seen. We don't process the grief. We don't process what happened, because we think about all the people who are doing some really weird, off the wall stuff right now, and you go back in their past and their history, and their parents began to tell you what they went through as a child, all the way to right now. Yeah, but well,
it's
God,
it's probably tied to a mental illness.
Right? Why you didn't go get them some help? And you've seen your child struggling, you've seen them suffering, and we as parents, we don't even realize that we have bipolar ways, and it should have got some help. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't think that we just woke up and we were just bipolar. I think that some of us experienced some form of trauma, and it developed into other things. You know what I'm saying? The trauma, it just went off into all these bipolar behaviors and schizophrenia and things like that, because it was unresolved issues. And that's why mental health is important, because we don't talk about it. We just walk around here like, oh, we just smile, and everything, but not knowing that you're struggling, that you're having a rough go at it, that you're having a hard time processing things. And, you want to leave yourself in the children. You want to leave yourself in the children, not knowing that wherever you go, that you're going to always be there. Like you said, you traveled, you moved, you left the job, and you went off and relocated to a whole other city. And then you found yourself going through the same stuff. If we could just leave ourselves, that means I want to leave Yolanda that's dealing with anxiety, the depression, bipolar, schizophrenia, fits of rage. If I could just leave her and just have a clean slate, then I'd be good. If we could just leave out, if a lot of us could just leave ourselves, a lot of us have been walked away from ourselves a long time ago. Be like, wherever you go, wherever I go, I'm there. But why I can't leave her? No, baby, that's something you got to deal with. You got to deal with her, deal with that
Right.
that
You
you're
got to
going
deal with
through.
it.
That is good. That's good. So let's talk about this grief. Let's get to that grief. Let's get to that grief poem. Are y'all liking this? Are y'all loving this? Let me know if y'all loving this. Are y'all loving this on today? So let's get to that grief. Let's get to that grief poem.
So G is for grief. The Lord is nigh unto them that are of a broken heart, and saveth such as be a contrite spirit. Psalms 34:18. A loss that seems to last a lifetime. Tears of sorrow, no hope for tomorrow. Anguish deep inside, nowhere to hide. The pain and heartache endured. Woe, it's me, bereaved with grief. A daughter's night-long lament for her father. Sorrow for hours, overtaken by grief, no relief. A loss that seems to last a lifetime. Tears to swallow, a heart empty and hollow, until strength she finds and realizes everything is not what it seems. The process of grief, stages healed and set free. Daddy, rest in peace.
So they said they're enjoying it. They're loving it. She said this is good. Amen. Amen. Because both of them have dealt with some loss too. So yeah. So when you're talking about, a daughter's nightmare, I was trying to write it as you was going. You said tears to swallow. Um, everything is not what it seems.
So tears of sorrow, tears of sorrow, tears I swallow. So that was literally like, how you cry so much that you actually swallow your tears. That was a real thing.
Yeah. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. That's a lot. When all that stuff like this, like it's all that is going inside the inside. Yeah. Ooh, think about it, that's heavy. How that's when that thing get real deep right there. When you feel all that stuff down there.
And you start choking.
You start choking off. That is not funny, but just think about it. Like, oh, honey, oh, poor thing. Oh, honey. I know. Oh, goodness. Oh, Jesus. Just the thought of it, honey. But I know exactly what you're talking about. And you said a daughter's nightmare. When you said about what's that piece right there?
What's the nightmare?
You said I think daughter's nightmare or something like that. I was trying to write
a daughter's so a daughter's night-long lament for her father.
Oh, wow. Okay, so longing, just longing and lamenting and crying, for dad. The desire, just wanting and longing for him, his presence, and all that stuff. Yeah. So you were you not the last baby, right? Which one were you?
No, I'm actually the middle child. Middle child syndrome.
Oh, the middle baby. Oh, the opposite. The middle get left at. But okay, got you. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. This has been good. This has been good. Can you give us some encouraging words to someone that is out there that may be dealing with some form of depression or grief? Can you give someone some encouraging words on tonight?
Yes. So look up your resources in your area. So I leave several resources in the depression book. I tried therapy. I tried the psychiatrist and all of that. I'm not saying don't do that. But in all things, seek God first, because ultimately God is the one that gave the doctors the knowledge to do what they practice on us. And remember, the medical field is just that. It's a practice. So they're practicing. They may not have all the answers. They may not know everything because it's a practice. But the one who has the solution is the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. So if you trust him and allow him to do the healing, he is just waiting for us to surrender. And once you do that, then you can learn to move from depression to destiny and from grief to glory.
Oh wow! So honey. By the time you're done, we're gonna read about all your books, honey. But I love it. I love this. Has been a whole blessing. Tell us, how can we reach you? Because I'm going to reach out to you, because I need your voice to help our young ladies in this area here. So tell us more about how we can reach you. And then if somebody else is going through something like this in their church and ministry with their youth, how can we reach you to get you to talk to our children? How are you reachable? What are your links or phone numbers? Whatever do you have? What you have for us if we needed you to come talk to our children?
So
What do you have? You can reach
yeah,
you.
so I'm on Facebook. Well, I'm on everything. So I'm on Facebook as Tierra Graves, and I'm also, my business page is Books by T. So that's a capital BOOKSBY and then TEA. All right, it's one word. So that's my business page. So that's all things Books by T. And T is spelled TEA. And then I'm on LinkedIn, I'm on Instagram. Same thing, Tierra Graves or Books by T. My books are available nationwide at over 700,000 distributors. They're online and in bookstores. And yeah, I'm always online in some capacity. So yeah, just hit me up. I'm more on Facebook than I am on the other platforms. And I'll be going live week after next. So I'll be going live week after next in Books by T to talk about all of our books as we lead up to the launch of the 2 new books. So I'm going to take you all the way back to Prism of Me. And I'm going to take a whole entire week to go live from Books by T to talk about my books and get you guys excited about my new release. So I'm just excited for what God is doing in my life. He continues to, I always say he continues to surprise me, because when I hear the bios and all that stuff being read, I don't even believe that it's me, because I know what I've been through. But how many know I don't look like what I've been through? And I
Come
thank
on
God
now.
for that.
And that's just not just a cliche. That's real stuff. And whoever came up with that word, they should have, I hope they patent it, honey, because that's real talk right there. That is real talk. This has been a whole blessing. Queen Dr. Rogers, she shared the link for you all to get that book, where she kept talking about reconstruction, dealing with the grief and all those great things, and then moving forward. How do you move forward? Because a lot of time people get stuck in the grief and things like that. So I absolutely love the books, and so it'll help you out in so many different ways. And help you be able to process it, acknowledge that there's something going on, something has happened, so you can allow yourself to feel the emotions and how you can move forward, in that, and not stay stuck. And although we go to work and we just keep going because that's how people cope with it, but what about really talking about it, talking it out? I found that, like what she did, she got several books. I found that writing it down, writing it out, your feelings and what you're going through throughout that day, that is really therapeutic, and guess what? Writing that stuff down will take you right to a book as well, because your story gonna bless some souls. Your book gonna take somebody right off that cliff. So don't forget to journal, write that stuff down. You about to say something, Queen?
No, I was gonna say, because I did that too. So that before I was writing the books, I had a tracker. I called it a tracker that I started, and I would track down my emotions. So, and I would write the day, the time that it happened. What episode. Depression. They always say you have episodes or you have triggers, and so I would write down what those actually were, and it could be really something really trivial and it doesn't mean a whole lot to somebody else. But for me, I just needed to physically see the behaviors on paper. So once I was able to see it, then I was able to correct it. So writing is not, even if you don't want to write a book, just writing what you're feeling will allow you to see your patterns and see the behaviors, and you can start to make the necessary changes to correct it.
I'm telling you, you're brilliant. I'm telling you what you just said. I'm about to see if I can take a clip of that, what you just said at the end. I'm about to see if I can take a clip. That was brilliant. Okay, well, y'all, that is it for tonight. We have went over our time, but this has been a huge blessing. I've enjoyed this all the way through and through. I tell you what, as time passes, it gets good and good. It gets better and better. And I have enjoyed you, Queen. I thank you so much for your time. And if you too would like to come on Nubian Queen Talk Show, you're more than welcome to be a guest on Nubian Queen Talk Show. We would love, love, love to have you. If you have not followed this woman of God, go ahead and follow her on all of her different platforms. Don't forget to purchase at least one of her books. Get the book because it's going to bless you. If you have a class, a school, ministry, or what have you, get her a book that's going to help somebody in your ministry or what have you with your children to deal with depression, grief. We don't even know how many of our children deal with this stuff. We see them acting out. We see them going off and being mad and upset and having fits of rage. And it could be stemmed from depression. It could be trauma, something they experienced and went through. And we got bills to pay. We got to go to work, and maybe we are pregnant. Maybe we're married or not married, or maybe he just passed away or she passed away. But we can't forget our children. And if the parent is not able to, like she said, her mom was pregnant with her, and that was a lot. That was a lot for mom. How can we help the parents that are dealing with grief and their children dealing with the grief? How can we become that village for their children to have somewhere they can go, and then mom or dad be allowed to grieve and to be able to allow themselves to feel, and then we come in and help however we can, so mom and dad can really process what has happened in their life and that loss that they're experiencing. That's good. That is so good. Thank you so much, woman of God, for this. Has been a blessing. And don't forget to
thank you.
Ma'am, you're welcome. Don't forget to subscribe to Nubian Queen Talk Show, NEWBEING, Nubian Queen Talk Show on YouTube. Subscribe to our channel so you can also find her on there as well and look her up on tonight. Find out some tools that you can use in ministry, what have you, in her book, her information that you can also purchase and buy. Okay, so it can help you in your ministry and your children. All right, that is it. I love you all. I love you. Take care of yourself. Kings and queens, peace and blessings.